Hello, my name is Abby Linville. I am an educator that is passionate about supporting other educators as an instructional coach. I'm going to tell you a little about myself today. I am originally from Iowa. I moved here to Kansas City about 14 years ago. I've been living in Shawnee, Kansas, um, for the last 7 years. I am married to my husband Luke. We've been married for 12 years, and we have 11-year-old twins that are boy-girl twins. Their names are Reese and Eli. This year has been very interesting for us. It's their first year that they've ever been in the same class. They spent their fifth grade year in the same class with each other. It's been a lot of togetherness for them. So we are looking forward to separating into their own classes coming up in the sixth grade year. I started working at Turner, which is a small school district in Kansas City, Kansas, when I first moved here 14 years ago. Turner is relatively small. It is located between District 500, the Kansas City, Kansas Public School District, and the Shawnee Mission School District in Johnson County, Kansas. Turner has 4 elementary schools, 1 middle and 1 high school, and then 1 sixth grade academy. So it's a small school district. I taught first grade there for 10 years before moving into a coaching position. I just finished my 4th year as a coach. I have been working primarily with 2nd and 3rd grade teachers, and I go into all of the 4 elementary school buildings to support those teachers. But starting next year, I'm going to move into the kindergarten and 1st grade instructional coach role. And I'm super excited about that and looking forward to getting to know those teachers and working with them. I'm going to tell you now about a little bit of how I communicate with the teachers I work with and some reflections that I had throughout this assignment. Primarily, I'm not working with communicating directly with families in my role right now. I'm communicating with the adults that I work with. I do support my teachers, especially new teachers, in finding the best ways to communicate with their families. For the purposes of today, I'm going to talk about how I find it's best to communicate with the teachers I work with. The first way I do is email. It's an easy way to make sure that everybody is getting a consistent communication. And I know that the teachers like to have things directly linked within email so they can always go back and reference them. So it's just a way that I use most frequently to communicate with my teachers. I also schedule in-person, face-to-face meetings on a regular basis with my teachers, especially if you are new to our school district or you are a first-year teacher. Then we meet on a weekly basis, and I can then go through a coaching cycle with them, and it helps build a relationship with them. I also attend weekly PLCs with each of my grade level teams. Another way that I use to communicate with my teachers is providing them with some feedback forms. So when I go in and observe them in their classroom, I have a feedback form that I fill out and leave for them that gives them just a little bit of suggestions and feedback about what's going well and some ideas that they might want to try in their classroom. The last way we used Microsoft Teams a lot during COVID. We had several instances where teachers were quarantined or I wasn't allowed to go because of cross-contamination issues into certain buildings, like it could only go to one building a day. I use Teams a lot to meet with my teachers. And it's a way that we found, like even now that we're kind of having restrictions lifted out of COVID, that we still like to have the ease of use, that if they need to show me to show them something quickly, like on their computer or how to access something, we can just get on a Teams call and I can pull up my screen and show them right then and there. All of these forms of communication were either free or provided to me by my district. None of them are things that I'd have to purchase, but they are available for me. Here are some communication wish list items. I know that social media is a big part of a lot of my teachers' day-to-day life. They find a lot of teaching ideas and information from looking on social media. So I would love to find a way that I could communicate with them through social media. It isn't something that I can't do. It's something I could do. I just have to find the best way to do it and the best mode of social media that most of my teachers would access. The second is our LMS, which is Schoology. Um, it's something that our district would like us to use and would like us to use solely to communicate with families. Even though I'm not directly communicating with families, I could be using it in a better way to help model for the teachers I work with. Um, the third is a blog. I know some of the other coaches in my district do use a blog to kind of help share ideas out with teachers, and that's something that I'd like to explore. Right now, I share my ideas primarily through email, but it would be nice to have like a central location to save them in. The last is a podcast. I've gone to, before COVID, I would go to some conferences and they discussed using podcasts when working with teachers. It's something that I know my teachers are already doing. I know they're already listening to podcasts and listening to some educational podcasts. So I think it's just another form of communication I could use to share ideas with the teachers and help teachers collaborate across buildings, because I could interview teachers in one building and then they could share some ideas that they have and other teachers could listen to that in a free moment that they have. The information, the articles I found to be super interesting, and I took a little piece of something away from each of them. The first one was the one by Kara Kutrzula, and I found that she talked a lot about being vulnerable, showing people who you are and what's important to you, not just saying, oh, I'm an instructional coach, but explaining to them that it's important to you and here's why. The other one was the article by Karen Gross, and she talked a lot about how when you're introducing yourself that you don't want to use your title. You want to make sure that you're showing them that you're a person first and be personable to them. That is something that I had tried to do as a teacher in the classroom. I would always introduce myself to the parents with my first and last name, so that they could see that we were teammates and equal, and that's something that I would continue to do as a building leader. The last article discussed a lot about sharing your story and making emotional connections with people. I think that is super important. I know that relationships are the foundation to everything, especially when you're working with adults, and they want to know that you guys have a common ground together. And so by sharing a problem that you're looking to solve, you can often see that you're trying to achieve the same goal and work on solving the same problem. Here are some methods of communication I might use as a building leader. The first is email. It's the thing that everybody has to check. Everyone is in the routine of it every day. So I think that that's something that I could use to communicate with staff, but also with parents. I just went to my district strategic plan a couple days ago, and there they just were sharing a survey that they had given to parents. And the top two modes of communication for parents were email and text messaging. So I know that parents like email and they want it and it's quick and easy for them. So that would definitely be at the top of my list to use. Schoology is something that's being pushed by my district because it's a common thing that everyone has kindergarten through 12th grade. So if parents you learn to use Schoology on a regular basis, they would be able to get on there every day and they would be able to communicate with all of their kids' teachers in that one place. And so it's something that I would want to use to support my district. The third is text messages. Again, I know that parents like it. It's easy, it's quick, and it's on their phone. I know that there are different, like there's the Remind out there that will send text messages, and I know that our school district has like an auto dialer that can send text messages out. So that's something I would definitely explore. The last is social media. We discussed at our strategic plan that a lot of our parents that are coming into our school system are and the millennial generation and the Gen Z generation. And they use social media as a primary way to communicate with each other and with other people. And that's where they look to find information. I don't see myself using it as a way to communicate directly with a parent, but I do think it's a great place to share what's going on within your building and within your school community with families, because it's something that they're already on, that they're already going to check, and it would just be easier for them. The two that they are using the most frequently currently in my district are Facebook and Instagram. So those would be where I would put my focus at first. My district does have communication requirements in the strategic plan. I think the strategic plan is important to follow. The reason is because its community members are a part of that, teachers are a part of that, administrators are a part of it. So if it's in the strategic plan, that means that's important to everybody. So here are some things that are in the strategic plan. 2 positive parent contacts per quarter, communicating as best you can through Schoology. Teachers need to send home weekly classroom newsletters. Principals send home monthly school newsletters, and they're working on building up their social media and using that more frequently at both the school level and the district level. This assignment met the standard CLO 5.3 in several ways. By creating the presentation, I was able to orally communicate with people. I did it through written modes and in a digital format as well. I also, by sharing it on the Currents community, was allowed to give something out to a community of people and open myself to feedback for it, which will help me grow as a leader. It also reminded me of how important first impressions are for people. It was relevant because I think communication is key, and it helped me reflect on what am I currently doing in my current role to communicate and what could I do better. How could I push myself a little further to make more connections? And it also allowed me to look closer at my district strategic plan. I looked at what are we currently doing in the plan and what might we want to look more at. As far as a personal reflection, it reminded me of the importance of a first impression. People size you up very quickly and they want to know that they can make an emotional connection to you. So you want to make sure that you are appearing open to them and that you want to hear their ideas and that you too want to work with them. It also was a reminder that technology is super important and that we all need to make sure that we're focusing on what is the best mode of communication that will make the what mode of communication can I use that's going to get me my biggest bang for my buck? I want to use what's easy for people and what will allow me to give information out to people as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And it also reminded me of the importance of face-to-face interactions and that I want to make sure that when I have an opportunity for those that I take advantage of them and I use my time wisely and I use it to share what I'm passionate about with others. Thank you so much for listening to my video. I look forward to watching your videos as well and getting to know you guys and getting to grow my professional community. Thanks.